Hey, back at you with another video here for the NBA main slate here on Saturday. We got a really nice 8-game slate. Real quick, let's see how we did last night. So it was a pretty interesting night, a very high-scoring night, and I kind of pivoted last minute. So obviously I had Lauri Markkanen as the thumbnail to my video. Pivoted last minute once there was news that Robin Lopez is not going to be waived. It was a whole mess of a situation. He was going to be bought out, and then he wasn't. So him being back was just another big body. So I still liked Markkanen, but I went another way. I kind of liked Nance a lot in this Washington game. I talked about him. And then Bobby Portis, I said if him, Jabari are active, I like them a lot. And there's news that came out that they're both going to play 20-plus minutes. So I tweeted, I like Bobby Portis and Jabari a lot. Both of them did very, very good for their prices. And then Clarkson here. With Alec Burks out of town, they didn't have as many guards available. So I really like this game stack of Cleveland, Washington. And then I went with the full-out Golden State Phoenix game stack. A little disappointing. Phoenix kept it close, and the Golden State guys were disappointing. That was I think if you played that back 9 times out of 10, a couple of these Golden State guys would have huge games, but it was just kind of a really balanced attack for Golden State. So, I had Steph, Draymond, and Boogie, and all of them a little disappointing. But, Oubre and Josh Jackson, very, very well. I said if Devin Booker's out, it's Oubre, it's Josh Jackson, it's Ayton. They're going to have huge games if the game stays close. And sure enough, all three of them had huge games. So, still cashing in all my GPPs. Again, I've really been sticking GPPs here the last couple of months. So, it was a pretty solid night. And let's see if we can keep it going here for tonight. All right, so 8 games. There's a lot of news, a lot of guys playing the first games of the new team. So just a first glance of game stacks I like for GPPs. The Charlotte-Atlanta game looks very appealing, but be careful with this game. Both teams like running a deep bench. Besides Kemba, the rotations in Charlotte are really inconsistent. Atlanta, like I said, they just run a huge bench. I do like this Washington-Chicago game quite a bit. This is probably my favorite game stack. Two bad teams don't play a whole lot of defense. New Orleans and Memphis, I would like, but Memphis, there's news that all these guys are going to be active and available to play. Jonas Valanciunas, DeLon Wright, C.J. Miles, Avery Bradley, and Tyler Dorsey are expected to make their Grizzlies debut. So that just really mucks up the rotation for Memphis. We liked Memphis a lot when they were running 8-man rotations. But now they have all these guys active. It makes it kind of a headache. And New Orleans side, we got Anthony Davis. We still don't know if he's playing yet. They said they're going to rest him in back-to-backs, but he's not on the injury report. And they're limiting him even if he plays. So it's kind of a mess there. So this game, there's a lot of headache in this game for sure. And then obviously, OKC, Houston. You got Harden and Westbrook, Paul George. You got a lot of stars in that game. So I won't say this is the best game stack because it's really hard to game stack it, but definitely want to consider getting your stars in that game. And Orlando, Milwaukee, so we got the news of Giannis is going to be out. So when Giannis is out, it's Middleton, it's Bledsoe, and it's Brogdon for me, and possibly Ilyasova, but I just want to be careful. Milwaukee's they've been running weird rotations. They've been running a deep bench. They haven't been running their guys out there a whole lot, like their starters, even in close games, so that does worry me a little bit. But Giannis being out definitely makes this game, a better possibility of it staying close. So, all right, let's get into the analysis. So, obviously, Harden, Westbrook here at the top. Great plays there, 12-2 and 11-2. If you're playing cash games, you definitely want to get one of these two guys in your lineup. They have the highest floor out of anyone on this slate, so you really can't go wrong with Harden. The price has dropped a bit, and then Westbrook here. 11.2 seems a little on the price for him, too. So, both these guys, I think, are really solid. Kyrie against the Clippers, it's a great matchup. I'm just worried about, can the Clippers keep this close? There definitely is some blowout risk there. Kemba, so he would be the one Hornet I would play. He's playing consistently 37, 37, 39, 37 minutes. Been playing 65, 60, and 58 the last 3. This is a dream matchup. So, if you're going to pivot off of Harden or Westbrook, I think Kemba is definitely the move. And he would probably be the only Hornet. It's really hard trusting Charlotte's rotations. Drew, so If Anthony Davis misses, then I would like Drew a decent amount here at 8.6. Still, though, he's been getting you there almost every night. Even if Anthony Davis plays limited minutes, I still think Drew is pretty solid. Obviously, the matchup not the best, but I think the price is okay. And then Mike Conley at 8.2. We got all those guys being active for Memphis. There was a blowout here in OKC. That's why I got limited to 28. I think in a close game, he plays close to 35 minutes. In a good matchup here, too. So definitely have to consider Mike Conley. So the Toronto guys, they're fully healthy. Kawhi's back. It's a great matchup against New York. I'm just not going to lie. I'm not going anywhere near Toronto. I said load up on them the other night against Atlanta. But this time, I am completely staying away with everyone healthy. There's just too many mouths to feed. I like Toronto when one or two of those main guys are out. With everyone back, I'm probably going to stay away. Let's see, Chris Paul here at 7K. 33 and 30 minutes each last two games, so it doesn't look like he's on his minutes restriction anymore. This is a pretty good matchup. 7K just seems too cheap, so I like Chris Paul quite a bit. Bledsoe, obviously I said it's Bledsoe, it's Middleton, it's Brogdon, possibly Ilyasova, but be careful here. This was a close game against Dallas. You played 27 minutes. 27, 27, 27 minutes last three games. 30, they're not running their start. They're not giving their starters a lot of minutes. So that is the concern. Obviously, Giannis being out, that's a huge, that's a lot of usage to go around. But like I said, just be a little, I wouldn't go completely crazy loading up on Milwaukee guys. Because like I said, the rotation is just a little weird right now. Then you got Dunn, Levine. I like them both here. In a great matchup against Washington. Like I said, this is probably my favorite game stackable game. So yeah, Levine, Dunn, both these guys are, I think, really solid plays here. Collison, been involved in a few back-to-back blowouts here, but in a close game, he's going to push for 35 minutes. Now, can Cleveland keep this close? That's a big if. I don't know. So there is definitely some risk. If they can keep it close, then Collison can have a pretty solid game. Satoransky, again, he did play 36 minutes, so it seems like they do want to close with him now that Otto Porter's out of there. So I know he kind of had an off game, 18 fantasy points here, but this is a good matchup against Chicago. So I think Satoransky is a pretty good buy low here at 5.9. Dennis Smith Jr., I said he would be the chalk on Twitter. He ended up being the chalk. Played 35 minutes, 48 fantasy points. It seems like Fizdale wants to give this guy all the minutes he can handle, but just when we trust Dave Fizdale, that's when he pulls the rug out from under us. I don't know. I'm a little torn on what to do here. I think he's going to be chalky once again. The matchup obviously not the best, but if he's going to continue to play these minutes, you have to consider him here at 6K. So I'm a little torn on what I want to do with DSJ. Let's see. These Clippers guys. Let me go to the Clippers really quick. So obviously no Tobias. We got, so it looks like Wilson. I don't know if these guys. It says they're out. These guys that got traded are going to be active or not. If they're out again, then the Clippers have a really small rotation. It'll probably be Jonathan Motley would be the guy the most interested. Played 29 minutes, only got 17 fantasy points, but normally this guy is pretty productive when he's out there. So I think he would be a pretty solid value play if Chandler, Shamet, Garrett Temple, if these guys are out. JaMychal Green, even I don't think we have news yet if these guys are going to be active. So we're going to have to kind of wait for news there. Gallinari in his first game back, it was a blowout. He only played 20 minutes, but he's going to be the go-to guy, basically. Lou Williams and Harrell you could consider, but again, we're going to have to kind of wait for news if those new guys are going to be active or not. Let's see. I don't see much else here, so I think we can move on to shooting guard. Beal at 9K. This guy's the main catalyst in the offense. He's gonna play close to 40 minutes. He's gonna shoot the ball close to 20 times every single night. This is a good matchup here in Chicago, so I think Beal is a pretty solid play and a decent pivot off of Harden and Westbrook. So I already talked about those two Chicago guys. Clarkson again. Obviously now the matchup's not the best. The matchup against Washington is really good. He shot the ball 18 times. He's going to be a high usage guy off the bench. The Cavs, they don't have a whole lot of solid players right now on their team. So they started Sexton, who I think is still okay here too. He's playing all the minutes he can handle. The matchup's not the best, but I think Sexton and Clarkson are pretty solid plays just because Cleveland doesn't have a whole lot of players that can really play. They started Dang Adele and Nwaba. Nwaba is even solid. So I think a few of these Cavs, I know the matchup's not the best, but they just have a limited rotation. So a couple of these guys, I think are really solid. I think Larry Nance again would be my favorite play here. I liked him a lot. Played him against Washington, got me 50 fantasy points. Kevin Love not being active. I think they start Nance at the 4 and Zizic at the 5. So if Nance starts again, then I think he's a really, really good play here at 5.7. Okay, sorry I'm kind of getting off track here. So let's go back to shooting guard. Holiday, but if all those guys are active for Memphis now, I'm probably going to take a wait and see approach. Let's see, Eric Gordon. I'm not an Eric Gordon guy just because he's just so scoring dependent. But 4.7K, I think he's in play. Okay, let's move on to small forward. Giannis hasn't popped up yet, though. He's going to be out, so he will not be playing. Paul George, I think it's going to go low owned again. I think it's going to be Westbrook and Harden. They're going to be high owned, and Paul George seems to go low owned every single night. 10K, he is a little discount from those two guys, and he has just as much upside, to be honest. So I think Paul George, a really solid play here at 10K. Kawhi, I told you I'm kind of staying away from, the guards and the wings. I might play a big just because they have a very, very few, big men. But as far as the guards and the wings for Toronto, I'm probably staying away. I'm a little scared of the blowout. Aaron Gordon, obviously Giannis being out is huge. This game definitely has potential to stay close. Aaron Gordon, the price is creeping up there a little bit, but 6.7K still is a little cheap. So I think him and Vucevic would be the only Magic guys that I would have interest in. But I think both those guys are definitely solid here. Thad Young, throw Oladipo out of there. This guy really picks it up. The thing is, again, I've been involved in a couple blowouts here, but look at this: 24 and 24 minutes. Both those games are blowouts. He put up 42 and 36 fantasy points. So he's starting to be kind of like the main catalyst in this offense, to be honest. Thad Young, we've seen him have very, very good games with no Oladipo. Obviously, Oladipo out for the season. This is a good matchup, but the concern is, can the Cavs keep it close? I still think at 6.2K, you really got to consider Thad Young. I think he goes kind of low owned again. Otto Porter. So now we got a little revenge game here. Going to be going up against Washington. He played 34 minutes. A little disappointing. He got 18 points, but didn't have a whole lot of peripheral stats. That's because, Bobby Portis and Jabari had huge games. But this is a really good matchup at 5.6K. I like Otto Porter quite a bit here in a revenge game. Let's see. Jabari. So I tweeted out, once I saw news that Jabari and Bobby Portis were each going to play 20 plus minutes, I like them both a lot. Didn't go with Jabari. I did go with Bobby Portis though, but anytime Jabari's going to play 20 plus minutes, you have to consider him. He's a very high usage guy off the bench. Also a revenge game here. So, Jabari and Bobby Portis, I like them both quite a bit here. We got a lot of revenge games actually in this game. So we got Otto Porter, the revenge, and then you got Jabari and Bobby Portis. So the Pelicans, let me go to New Orleans really quick here. Again, it's kind of a mess. We don't really know what's going on with Anthony Davis. He's not in the injury report, but if Okafor's out, if Anthony Davis are out, and then it's Drew Holiday and Randall are going to be the main catalyst in the offense. But then you could consider guys like Kenrich Williams, Darius Miller, Cheek Diallo, Tim Frazier, Frank Jackson. You can consider those guys, if Okafor and if Anthony Davis are out too. So, again, we're going to have to kind of wait for news there. Let's see. Other than that, I don't see a whole lot. So I think we can move on here to power forward. So I already talked about all these guys. John Collins. You guys know I like playing John Collins. The minutes just been a little up and down. I played 39 minutes kind of out of nowhere, but usually he's limited to right around 30 or so minutes. Played 32 against Washington or against Toronto. Again, it's just Atlanta runs a really deep rotation. The two Atlanta guys that I would play would be Trae Young and would be John Collins. So if you're going to try and stack this game, I know this game is very appealing. I think it would be Trae Young and John Collins on the Atlanta side, and then I'd run it back with Kemba if I was going to make a game stack. That's probably what I would do. For Reed here at 6.9, he's going to play right around 30 minutes. It just, matchup not the best here against Steven Adams, so I'm probably not going to go with Reed's way. Jaren Jackson, Ivan Robb. We got Jonas Valanciunas, like all those guys I listed off. JV, DeLon Wright, CJ Miles, Avery Bradley, Tyler Dorsey. Obviously, all those guys besides Jonas Valanciunas are guards. So I think Jackson and Robb are definitely solid. But we just don't know what the minute situation is going to be like. The matchup is so good where I think you definitely could take a shot on either Jackson or Robb. Possibly even Jonas Valanciunas if we know he's going to play good minutes. JV, whenever we can project Jonas Valanciunas to get a lot of minutes, that's when you got to consider him. So I'm going to wait for more news before I make a final decision on some of these Memphis bigs. Again, guys, if you don't follow me on Twitter, it's really, really important. I give a lot of analysis there too. Like after I make the video and more news comes out, I give a lot of my thoughts there. So really, really important to follow me on Twitter. Okay, so Toronto. Let me go to Toronto. I kind of said I don't want to play any of these guys, but Toronto's bigs, it's basically Siakam, Anan Ibaka, Marc Gasol. Okay, so if Marc Gasol's cleared, then I'm probably just going to stay away from these Toronto guys. But if he misses, then it's just Siakam and Ibaka as the bigs. I don't know if Boucher is up. He was sent back down to the G League, so that's kind of news I would have to wait for too. If Marc Gasol is active and available to play and is going to play, then I'm probably just going to stay away from the Toronto guys. That's kind of my thoughts with that. Obviously, I said I like Nance. These Washington guys, the Washington Wings, you can't go wrong with Ariza, Jeff Green, who I haven't talked about either of those guys. I really like Bobby Portis and Jabari off the bench, and I know probably Portis and Jabari are going to be chalky, but it's a revenge game. It's a great game, stackable game. Both these guys are cheap, should play 20-plus minutes again, so I like Bobby and Jabari the most. But obviously Jeff Green, Ariza are pretty solid here too. Okay, let's see. Was there anything else down here? Oh, well, first let me talk about, I kind of skipped over, not John Collins, Lauri Markkanen here. Again, I really do like this game stack. Markkanen played 38 minutes against Brooklyn, put up 59 fantasy points. So hopefully a lot of you guys played him. I liked him a lot in the video. Again, I just pivoted last minute, but I like him a lot here. Again, a really good matchup. He should play most of the game. The only concern is the back-to-back, and he played so many minutes, but Chicago just doesn't have a whole lot of options at the power forward position, so I think Markkanen really solid here. Other than that, I mean, you could go to like DJ Wilson or Ilyasova. I'd probably prefer Ilyasova with no Giannis, but again, just be careful with Milwaukee. They haven't been giving the main guys a lot of minutes, so that does concern me. Vucevic here, Giannis being out again, this game definitely has a better possibility of it staying close. So it would be Vucevic and it would be Aaron Gordon that I would consider for Orlando. No one else really. But I think Vucevic at a buy low here at 8.8K. He's going to be going up against like Brook Lopez. He should have his way. So I think Vucevic goes really low owned, but I think he has a lot of upside in this slate. So I'm definitely going to consider Vucevic. Miles Turner, like a lot of these Indiana guys are priced right in the 6K range. They've been involved in a few blowouts. This also has a blowout written all over it, but if this game stays close, Thad Young, Miles Turner, Sabonis, Collison, even Bogdanovich, even though I'm not a Bogdanovich guy because he's just, very scoring dependent. All those guys you had to consider. So, okay, let's see. Steven Adams is 6.1. Was involved in a blowout here against Memphis, but normally he's going to play 30 to 35 minutes. 6.1K. I think he's a pretty solid play for cash games. I mean, he doesn't have a whole lot of upside, but that just seems too cheap for a guy that's going to play most of the game. Obviously, I talked about Nance. I like him a lot. Same thing with Bobby Portis. Zizic here, so no Kevin Love. I'd assume they start probably Zizic at the 5 and Larry Nance at the 4. I think he would play 25 or so minutes. Obviously, again, the matchup not the best, but I think Zizic would be okay. I would just prefer playing Larry Nance. Diallo, if Anthony Davis is out as well as Jahlil Okafor, then you could look Diallo's way here at 4.4. When he gets minutes, he's pretty productive. So I would look his way, again, if Anthony Davis as well as Jahlil Okafor are both out. Robin Lopez, again, it was just the sticky situation of they were going to waive him, and then they were not going to waive him, and then buy him out, So, I don't know. He played 18 minutes. He did okay. Washington, though, likes running small ball, so I'm not going to go Robin Lopez's way here. Alex Len, but it's just they're playing too many guys, too many minutes. You've only played 6 minutes last game. I can't do it. Oh, Zubac here. So, okay, so he will be available for Saturday's game against the Celtics. I would assume they're going to start Zubac at center. 3.5K here, that is just way, way too cheap. I'm just reading what it says here. I heard that Doc Rivers does want to start Zubac, so we're going to have to kind of wait for news, but it seems like he's going to be available. I'd assume he plays a decent amount of minutes. 3.5K is just way too cheap. I kind of overlooked Zubac. I kind of, before I made this video, when I was looking it over, I guess I kind of passed by him without looking at it too clearly. But, okay, so Zubac's going to be active and available to play. I'll probably off Motley then, and I'd assume they start Zubac. So I think he's a really, really solid play here at 3.5K. I'm going to wait for a starting lineup, but like I said, I think he'll probably pick up the start. So I think he's really, really good at 3.5K there if he picks up the start. And yeah, that's about it. So I really, really like this Washington-Chicago game. There's a lot of revenge in it. It's definitely game stackable for GPPs. Everyone's pretty cheap. You can run a really good game stack with this, and you can run a couple of cheap guys. You could get Zubac in there. You can get a stud from OKC Houston. Possibly a couple guys from this game. So there's a lot of different ways you can go on the slate. Obviously, Cleveland. There's still a lot of value at Cleveland. The matchup not the best, but it's Nance, it's Clarkson, it's Sexton. Probably the main guys I would have interest in. I would assume all 3 of those guys play 30-plus minutes, so there's some value there with Nance, Clarkson, and Sexton. There's value with Zubac, a couple other guys. So, like I said, there's a lot of different ways to go, but right now, me personally, I'm leaning towards, just because I stuck into GPPs, I'm probably going to stack this game and maybe get a star from OKC Houston, and then get some value with Zubac and maybe a couple Cavs, and that's probably what my lineup will look like as of right now. So, I think that's going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have been enjoying the content, please like this video, subscribe. Really helps me out as growing as a channel. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment section down below. It's also important to follow me on Twitter. That will be in the description below. I'll give my thoughts and more news comes out throughout the day. And yeah, I'll be back for another video on Sunday, so I will see you guys then.